Good evening. My name is Tom Cummings, and this is my video reflection where I will be discussing my writing processes throughout this semester and the processes that I undertook when writing the three major papers for Bridges 102, Writing and Literature, where I will also be touching on some of the smaller assignments that we wrote throughout this semester. To be completely honest, I have not had the best writing practices, and I'm extremely grateful for the leeway that I was given throughout the semester. But the best practice that I found for writing was getting a general idea of what I wanted to write down, what I wanted to write my paper about, and then simply going through and trying to chunk up what specifically I was going to do. So I employed a lot of outlines where I would find a topic, do a literature review on that topic. For my problem solution essay, that meant going through and looking at the extensive literature out there regarding how to increase productivity and how to fend off procrastination. And what I found was pretty interesting. Because I anticipated going in and seeing that it was solely going to be based on time management and ways to kind of hold yourself accountable. But what I found is that it was a lot more complex than that, excuse me, and trying to ensure that one was productive meant a lot more than just what you did, rather how you did it. And in my problem solution essay, I delved into the different ways that go beyond just structuring your time to be more productive, but how you actually live your life and how you go about your day, including the food that you eat throughout the day, as well as different activities to engage in. For my literary analysis, I chose to write about The Road by Cormac McCarthy, which is a dystopian post-apocalyptic novel. And to prepare for that writing process, I first off reread The Road. This is my third time reading through it, and I absolutely enjoyed, which might be a little bit strange, but I enjoyed every second of reading that book, and all of the darkness that comes with it was maybe therapeutic. But then going through and actually applying what was written in that book by Cormac McCarthy, who isn't a psychologist, who doesn't have any background in what it takes to survive in a post-apocalyptic setting or in an anarchical setting. What really shocked me was how much it lined up with a lot of the literature that exists out there in terms of what motivates people to through survival scenarios, and kind of what it looks like when people try to make it through hard times, and the power of hope and the power of love, as I talk about in my paper, Analyzing the Road. So that was a really interesting process that I had a ton of fun with. And being able to do a deep dive into the psychology behind a book that is entirely fictional was truly great for me. And then finally, to get into the processes of how I went about my media review, I've always kind of shared a deep connection to the cause for environmentalism. So naturally, I wanted to pick out a nature documentary. And I thought about doing Our Planet with David Attenborough, or something a little bit more tame that looks at the biosphere and looks at specific animals within their environment and just kind of gives a rundown of what they do, what they eat, how they behave. But I decided to go with something a little bit more complex, and something that really delved into a issue that I'm quite passionate about, which is overfishing and the exploitation of the industrial fishing processes. And that was a truly heartbreaking documentary to watch, to be completely honest. Just the way that the producer and journalist who created Seaspiracy presented the facts and the realities of the industry was truly moving in a way that I think that a lot of documentaries as a whole, not just nature documentaries, really lack. So being able to see it from a firsthand point of view, conducting interviews, going to the actual sites where the fishing industry work out of. I talked about his going out and seeing these whaling vessels, and the kind of response that elicited was really moving and certainly helped spur along my writing practices. So that aided immensely in writing about that issue, which was really an interesting experience. My writing practices as a whole certainly could use a lot of work, and as ironic as it is, trying to fend off procrastination, it has gotten a little bit better. And I've also learned a lot about myself in terms of the way that I write, and I have gained a much better and clearer example of how to write through the feedback that I've received throughout this course on my reading responses and on the smaller assignments. So that has certainly helped me become a better writer. And even in my procrastination, I've learned a lot about how I write in a sense of urgency, and how to become a better writer. Thank you.